Are you ready?
A Shot of Wrestling, episode 268. And wait, go!
What you get a shot, boy? Is that the best that you got? We about to go live. Are you ready to rock? So take a shot. Oh, so take a shot. Oh, yeah. I'm a street breaker. I'm a heartbreaker. This is my dawn. I'm Ramon Razor. Ric Flair, nature boy. About to seek and destroy. It's an SOW. Let me hear you make noise. Take a shot, boy. Is that the best that you got? We about to go live. Are you ready to rock? So take a shot.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of A Shot of Wrestling. I'm your host at Michael J. Putty. For the second week in a row, Marcus Schwann is not here, and he's been kind of missing all week. We went out Tuesday night into the city for drinks at the home base of AJ Pan. I had to leave early because I'm a responsible adult. Turns out Mark Schwann stayed till 3:30 in the morning, got completely fucked up drunk, lost his phone. No one has heard from him all week. Finally popped up on Twitter today, so he's okay. Don't know where he is. He's probably grounded by his wife, or she's probably pissed. But I missed out on drunk Mark Schwann. Can't believe it. But filling in for him today, a good friend of mine and the show's all the way from Wrestling IQ 101, Andrew. Andrew, welcome to the show, buddy. How you been?
Oh, I'm doing well, Mike. I'm glad to be here today, and I'm excited to talk with you.
Yeah, man.
And talk about some wrestling.
I think it was like late last year, we had your co-host Derek join me and Mark Schwann. So we've been trying to get you on for a while. Now we had a perfect opening. You were free tonight. I had an opening, so I'm glad to be here, buddy.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here too, and I'm glad to talk about some great wrestling stuff that's happening.
How's everything going? How did you survive in the pandemic? You got through 2020 okay?
Yeah, well, so far COVID-free.
All right, knock on wood.
Yeah, a little speed bumps here and there, but nothing COVID-related.
Thank God.
Yeah, I can't really complain. I got vaccinated. All my family's been vaccinated, and my girlfriend's been vaccinated, and she's been healthy, so can't really complain. I was home for a little bit, the beginning of the pandemic, like everybody else, and then I went back to work because, the grind never stops. But I'm hoping you're doing all right too.
Yeah, not bad. I had to work the whole time, but we're getting through it. Turns out now I need a third booster shot. That just came out yesterday. So that it was a bitch for me to get the first vaccine. It took me almost like a month and a half to book my appointment. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping this one, the third shot's easier to get because, come on, it's got to be easier to get.
Yeah, what did you get, the Moderna or the Pfizer?
No, I got Pfizer. I got the A+ one.
Okay, all right, yeah, so I got Moderna. So
at least you didn't get Johnson & Johnson. I know a couple people got that and now they're regretting it. I'm like, sucks to be you.
Yeah, they were saying, well, I don't think anybody expected a variant so soon, but here we are.
Also didn't have a choice. I just took whatever they gave me.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with the Pfizer. I heard that's the better one. And Moderna's pretty good, but then Johnson & Johnson, I heard, because everyone loved the one-shot thing. No one wanted to go back for two shots. One shot, boom, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then there's some problems with it, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, and hopefully we can get back to being a better, healthier America again.
Can't wait, man. I miss hugs. I'm a hugger. I just want to hug people.
Hugger?
I'm a hugger.
You're an OH?
I'm a soft teddy bear.
Hugger? Yeah. That's fun. Hopefully you get back to hugging people because they need it right now. Right? People need hugs.
So, Andrew, the last time I saw you was on accident. I believe it was WrestleCon 2019 in the heart of Manhattan. Mm-hmm. I just popped up there. Didn't expect to see anybody. I just wanted to go there to see Shawn Michaels, get my belt autographed. The only reason I got that white-strapped old-school WWF Intercontinental belt was for Shawn Michaels.
Uh-huh.
I went there, wanted to get it signed, plus our girl Eva Marie was there.
Oh, yeah.
So as I'm walking in, you think you're walking out, we meet, and you just made that whole trip for me, buddy. We had a great time hanging out with you. You were hilarious. Yeah. It was such a fun hanging out with you that night.
Yeah.
There was a long-ass line wrapped around, I think, the third or fourth floor for Ric Flair or Kevin Nash. And this guy right here, Andrew, was walking around the line. I'm like, oh, is this the line for me? You guys waiting to see me? Okay, I'll be there in a couple minutes. I'm like, this guy's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So you just made that whole night for me. And I think you were on your way out. But thanks for sticking around because I need a personal photographer, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
You took all my photos when every time I meet somebody.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, you took it with the robe. I remember that. Yeah.
Ric Flair robe,
Nice.
That thing was
Well,
heavy.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. You know, I was there the day before, and I know actually we met the day after WrestleMania. I remember in the parking lot, you're trying to get the chair.
Oh, that's right. Yes, forgot about that. Yeah, you met Brittany, that girl Brittany something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She's like it's like a Twitter model or something like that.
Yeah,
That
she's
was
Insta
hilarious.
famous.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, I remember. But yeah, WrestleCon, that was so much fun. I remember we went out for lunch like my second day there.
Yeah.
I was, I was so worried because the tickets for Shawn Michaels was so expensive, and I was like, "Is he really going to show?" Because they pulled like Sting and somebody else to the hall, like WWE. They just pulled them like the night before.
Did they? That's right. I think I heard that.
Yeah, and I was like, man, I just paid all this money for Michaels. What do I do? Because I never really pay for things in advance, or at an indie show. I'm usually just like. I've been to enough places where they just cancel it on like the day before, the week before. So I usually just do it the day of. But I was like, I should probably do it for Michaels.
Yeah, so I usually do. Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'll pay for this one time in advance. And because I met, Brett, I met so many people from my generation growing up. So I was like, I gotta meet Michaels. And I had this poster. I don't know if you remember. I had this poster.
That's right, you did.
And he's like one of like the few people I needed left to sign this poster. So. No, I'm just missing Stone Cold, so I'm hoping I can meet the redneck Texas Rattlesnake one day.
I have a lot of cool shit. I think I have a lot of cool shit, but you have this cool poster. Please tell people about this poster.
Yeah,
I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, as a poster, I got it at like Five Below, and it has like Ricky the Dragon on it, Honky Tonk Man, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, and a couple of other legends. And I have it in Stone Cold and I think like Macho Man. I can't really recall. And I got it signed by like everybody on the poster except for like Stone Cold, because there are some people on there that are deceased. So, But yeah, it's been like my pet project I was doing for a couple of years, and now with COVID, I had to put it on hold with Stone Cold.
Yeah, one more left though. You gotta keep going.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'd like to meet him for sure. But yeah, life has been pretty busy. Like those conventions are fun. You never know who you're gonna meet. I remember I like screamed across the building for like Jay Lethal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember that. He took a
because he was like running out the door, and I was like, Jay.
Yeah, that was impromptu. Yeah, for free. He was leaving. He caught him, and he was nice enough to take a picture with you.
Yeah, and I remember I was like, oh, we gotta get Mike in like the shot.
Yeah, and I just like a photo bomb, like like disgusting look on my face. I'm like, I could at least smiled. What am I doing?
Yeah, I remember we were walking around, and you were like, "Just Luchasaurus." You're like, I gotta get a picture with him. He's a dinosaur.
Damn right, because I know Luchasaurus from Big Brother. Well, that's the guy from Big Brother who wanted to be a wrestler, and now he is a wrestler. I'm like, good for him. So I spent like 5 minutes talking to him, not about wrestling, not about AEW or anything. It was about Big Brother. I'm like, all right, good.
Big Brother?
He enjoyed the change of pace. I think he was a little tired of talking about wrestling nonstop, but he liked the change of topics.
And then, like you said, Eva Marie, I remember, like, I met her the day before. No, did I meet her? Yeah, I don't know if I met her with you or the day before, but I just remember, like, she being, like, mad cool. She was, like, the coolest person there.
She was very cool, yeah. Very, very sweet. It was very nice.
Yeah. Oh, and there was so many other people there, too. Like, was Boogeyman there?
Boogeyman was there. We had a great conversation. He like, loved me. It's like, I have the good vibe from you. And he kept talking to me nonstop. I told about the podcast, like, when we'll come on for an interview. He says, yeah, you take my number down, reach out to me, and I'll do it. I reached out to him. He never got back to me.
No? Never got back to you?
Womp womp.
That happens every once in a while. But I think the coolest one for me was it's a tie between Sheik and Trish.
Yeah. Okay. That's the next question. Who's your favorite? So it's Iron Sheik and Trish Stratus, your two top meets.
Well, for that event, yeah. But I think maybe ever. I think it has to be Booker T.
Oh, you met Booker T?
Yeah. I was in a little room with him, and there was like Bret Hart, Booker T, LAX, and New Jack.
Oh wow. Okay.
And they're all quiet. And Booker T, like, I was like 10 people on, like 5 or 6 people, 10 people in front of me. And like this woman, she was a very attractive woman. And she like left. And Booker T's like, oh, I'm going to look at her, but I'm not going to touch. And she's like still in the room.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he's so loud. And he's like, just don't tell my wife, but I'm definitely looking. And I'm like, bro. I was like, she's still here. She's not even by the door. And he's so loud. And then, like, he, like, as I got closer, he, like, hugged me. Oh. And it felt like one of those hugs, like, he knew me forever.
Wow, okay. That's nice.
Yeah. So yeah, Booker T was really cool. Hogan was really cool too.
Oh, you met the Hulk?
Yeah, I met Hulk. Brett has been pretty nice a couple times I met him. So usually the people that I meet are pretty good at coming on like the podcast sometimes. So usually they're like the friendliest ones. Like Barry Horowitz is pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
The girls from Glow were like awesome to me. Like
that's right. You did those girls. Yeah, that was awesome. When I saw that, I'm like, that's a nice get.
Yeah, they were awesome, and even people who I've interviewed that I met afterwards have been like pretty cool. Like I just met Brett Azar from Young Rock.
Okay. Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, and Randy Hogan I just interviewed again for the second time. So
that.
just like, yeah. So it was like I've been like pretty fortunate that like I got to meet so many people. Like it's been kind of crazy. Virgil is another one that I got to hang out with him. I had dinner with him at Boardwalk Beatdown.
Okay, you're a big Virgil fan. I know you.
Yeah.
He's one of your all-time favorites, isn't he?
He's my mentor.
Yeah.
Him and Monster Mac.
I never knew somebody such a big Virgil fan until I met Mr. Andrew over here.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny because like we went to the Wrestling Universe and they had like his action figure sign. I was like, yeah, I'm buying this. I don't know how much it is. I'm just buying it.
I'm not a big comic book person at all.
Uh-huh.
I'm not, as the people say, a nerd.
Uh-huh.
But a friend of mine had an open ticket for a New York Comic Con a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Brock, just come. I need someone to come with. I don't want to waste a ticket. There's wrestlers there." I'm like, "All right,
sure.
You got to be there. Okay." So we spent the whole day walking around. I think it was like a 3-day pass. It was great fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
But I walk in, one of the first people I met was Virgil.
Really?
Yeah. He seemed like a cool guy, very nice. Signed a picture, took a picture with me in the $1 Million Belt, had a brief conversation with him. He seemed like a really awesome guy. And then following a couple years later, the $1 Million Man was there, which is one of my all-time favorites. The only time I ever quote-unquote cosplayed was with the $1 Million Man. Cause all you do is wear a suit and a money tie. That's all you had to fucking wear. Brought my $1 Million Belt, had it signed, and I brought that picture with him and Virgil on it, had it autographed by Virgil. So I have this cool picture of both autographed by Virgil and $1 Million Man. Like those are hard to get these days because they don't do appearances together too often.
No. Actually, this is kind of hilarious because I went to Legends of the Ring out here in Jersey.
Okay.
And some guy had the $1 Million Belt and he wanted it signed by Ted.
Yeah.
And then Virgil took it and then he signed it.
Oh no!
The guy was like, he's like, "You just devalued my belt."
Did he though? I think that value would increase.
And then he had to pay for the Virgil. He's like, "You devalued my belt." He's like, "I didn't even want this." And he started like crying. And I was like, "Bro, this is the greatest thing that ever happened to you."
Yeah, isn't Virgil the former $1 million champion? Didn't he win it?
Yeah, he was the second one. Yeah.
So it should add value to it. Come on, buddy. You should know your wrestling history.
And then the funniest thing was that WrestleCon 2, I ran into him.
Virgil?
Yeah, okay. Like at the door because I was waiting out. I had that weekend. I remember I had I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted it to myself because I just went through some personal stuff. So I was like, I just want that weekend for myself. I wasn't bothering anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was looking for somebody, and then I was like, oh yeah, I don't know where he went. And he's like, oh, come with me. And I was like, what?
Did he recognize you or just look at random?
Yeah, he did. He recognized me because I was friends with one of his friends that were there.
Okay.
And he was like, "Oh, come with me." He goes, "I'm looking for a table." And I was like, I had the wristband on, because I was a regular patron of the event. I was nobody special. And he's like, "Come with me." And I'm like, I'm not walking into WrestleCon with you. Like, I'm just a patron.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Come on, man, let's do it." And I was just like,
yeah, you have to.
In the back of my mind, I was like, "Why am I fighting with Virgil?" Just
go do it.
And then we ran into like Dutch Mantel and like some other people, and they're looking at me and they're like shaking hands and talking to each other, and then I follow suit because I don't want to be rude. And they're looking at me and they're like, I'm looking at them like, I know you, you don't know me.
Yeah, right.
So so that was kind of funny. I was just like hanging out with him as he was trying to get a table.
Wow.
So those are like some fun moments. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, why am I arguing with him? And I'm watching all the other people set up their tables. I'm getting like a backstage like pass before this thing even opens. Like,
that's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. It was pretty cool. And he got a table.
Did he? Of course he did. He's Virgil.
Yeah.
I have a lot of memories of that day, WrestleCon, including meeting one of the biggest crushes, Rebel. But another member that stands out to me was I didn't know too much about Joey Ryan at the time. You were telling me about the dick flip, everything he's doing, and then he's at the table like, you should go do it. Go do a dick flip with Joey Ryan. I'm like, I don't really want to do that. Thank you.
You know what?
But there were kids doing it. And now looking back at everything, I'm like, well, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah. Looking back on that didn't age too well. But,
no, it did not. That is not a fine wine. No.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you didn't do that.
Me too. Imagine those pictures out. I'm like, that would have fucked me up.
Yeah. Oh man, I remember. Like, was it Scarlett was there too, right?
Scarlett and Killer Cross. Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't we go to meet Scarlett?
We went to go meet Scarlett, I think Killer Cross. I think the line was too long, or they weren't there yet.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we're just doing one last pass, and they were just sitting there, nobody around them. I only had enough money in my pocket left, because those conventions are awesome, but they're also a money drain.
Yeah, that's true.
So I only had enough money to meet one of them. I'm like, I'm going to go with Scarlett on this one. Yeah. So I met Scarlett. I think Killer Cross was talking to somebody, like famous, some like a wrestling person. So I snuck in and talked to Scarlett for like 2 minutes. It was great.
Yeah, I met her. Chad Minnis brought her in for a standalone show or something like that, and she was pretty cool.
Yeah, she seemed cool, yeah.
Yeah, and then I got to meet Karrion Kross twice, and I got to interview him both times I met him. And I was like, yo, this guy's a really good dude.
He seemed cool.
Yeah, I remember like the first time I was like, maybe he's, like first impressions, you're like, man, he could be, maybe he's a little mean or something like that because his character, but and I was like, what does this guy have to be mad about? He has a nice-looking lady traveling the world being a wrestler. Like, life is good for this guy.
He's living his dream, smoking hot girlfriend. Yeah, not too bad, Killer Cross.
Yeah, so I was like, he's a good dude. But, like, it's pretty surreal, like, seeing him on NXT. Or people, like, for me personally, like Keith Lee or Matt Riddle, because I got to interview them in person, and now I'm like, holy shit, they're on TV, or, like, Private Party. I'm like, holy shit, like, all these people I talk to, I'm like, now I'm watching on Wednesday or Tuesday or Monday. I'm like, damn, this is pretty sweet. I'm sure you got the same thing too, right? Like, people that you met.
Yeah, something me and Green Man were talking about last episode. We're good friends of Joe Gacy.
Yeah.
We were talking about the good thing about indie wrestling is you go to meet these guys, befriend these guys. You see them in wrestling, then afterwards hang out at the bar with them or get to know them personally and have a great conversation with them. Then, months later, you see them on national television. So we're fully in on Joe Gacy's right now because that's our boy. Mm-hmm. You list a lot longer names than we have, so I can't imagine how much invested you are on these guys.
Yeah, and it's weird. I was telling somebody too a couple weeks ago, like growing up for me, like I went to Jersey All Pro, and like Omega was the champion out there. Brody Lee was there.
Oh shit.
Necro Butcher was there. Like all these people I grew up with. Like Nick Gage went through there. I mean, so many people. Janela, and I was like, these are the people I grew up, really watching, and now they're really everywhere I go.
Blew up.
On TV, like it's crazy.
That's awesome.
Like I remember Brody Lee. I looked at him like this guy. This guy might not make it to the WWE. He's hanging out with like the Briscoes and Necro Butcher. I'm like, they'll never hire this guy. And then the next thing I know, he's like at OVW, like FCW. I'm like, holy shit, they did it.
Look what happened, man.
Yeah. I was like, yo, that's crazy.
That's nuts. Well, Andrew, I'm sure we can exchange stories of wrestling pleasantries all night. Mm-hmm. But we got a show to get to. Let's get into some news.
Yeah.
It's time for In the News with Michael J. Putty.
All right, Andrew, let's get into the news of the week. We had the Wednesday Night War that started back in October 2019 between AEW Dynamite and NXT. And of course, Dynamite won the ratings war for the majority of the time. Mm-hmm. Now it's being reported that Triple H is being blamed for losing the war. His detractors, who are worried about their position in the company if he takes over for Vince, are now using the opportunity as ammunition to convince Vince that Triple H isn't the right man for the job. The recent match releases from NXT are part of the brand's rebranding, as we talked about last week. The plan is to turn NXT into a developmental ground, much like they had with OVW back in the day. Now, these NXT releases, Triple H, Shawn Michaels had nothing to do with it. They had no say in it. They weren't even aware of it until Johnny Laurinaitis started calling the talent. Mm-hmm. One person noted that the mindset is that when WWE would sign an independent talent, they would first have to, quote-unquote, beat the independent out of them when it came to their work style. And when NXT talent got called up to the main roster, they had to beat the NXT out of them. So these two topics combined, like, what does the future hold for Triple H in that company after these recent incidences? And can this new attitude towards NXT be described as, like, disrespectful? Like, what is this negative attitude towards NXT lately?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Triple H will be fine. I think he'll navigate. You know, he's done it his whole career, right? He's learned to be at the bottom of the totem pole. Remember, like the whole curtain call stuff, and he found his way to the top, right?
Would you say he learned to evolve?
Yeah, he learned to evolve. Yeah, the evolution, right? But you know, it's kind of weird because they didn't really put too much star power on NXT other than like Finn Balor, right?
Yeah,
they had the Boston Hug connection, and when they put them on, they won the war that week. But it took all the old WWE guys to beat NXT, right?
Good point.
Like Moxley, Jericho, Cody. So it took all those guys, Miro, and all these surprises. I mean, and that's the thing about AEW. It's fresh to the point where they're really knowing how to connect with the audience. WWE feels sterile, but it's consistent. AEW is surprises, but it's not really coherent. But they're connecting with. They have a friendly, popular crowd. That's what it really. I think to me. So I think WWE will be just fine. I think those releases are very surprising, but who knows? Maybe it's a test for him to go somewhere else. You know, within WWE, maybe focus on like a Raw or a SmackDown brand.
Triple H.
Or something. Yeah, Triple H meeting. Yeah.
This guy took NXT from like a reality show, viewer voting format, and basically turned it into quote unquote the developmental. Until he did so well, many people are equated it to being a third brand. And I think 2 years ago, they even included NXT in the Survivor Series, Raw versus SmackDown format. So NXT was doing pretty damn well.
Yeah.
It came from this fledgling thing. Now it's on national network television, cable television. I mean, I just don't. This seems like it's just a slap in the face for Triple H here.
Yeah. There's so many people that they've called up from NXT that have just kind of, maybe you can say failed or didn't have a run.
Yeah.
That people expect them to have, like Bo Dallas or Adam Rose or something like that. But,
Curse.
Yeah. But then there's those breakout people like Roman and Big E. But I think the main thing is, like, if you go look at OVW, they produced the biggest and best class of any generation with Shelton Benjamin, Brock Lesnar, Cena, Orton, Batista. So if you can get somebody... That's what it takes to start from scratch and build something else. You know, you never know what you could get a diamond in a rough. You know, you might find the next big star.
We also report that Vince has nothing to do with NXT. It's all Triple H. He brought in his boys. He developed NXT. Now all of a sudden Vince wants to meddle with NXT. I feel like this is a huge mistake here. Leave it alone. Focus on Raw and SmackDown. Let NXT do their thing. I just feel like this is going to blow up in their face eventually. I'm hoping I'm wrong. But I feel like this is not a good thing coming up.
Yeah, that was the unique quality about NXT, right? Because I've been to a couple of those takeovers, and there was pure wrestling matches on there. It's
a wrestling show.
Yeah. I remember I was watching Bayley and Sasha at Takeover, or
you were there in person?
Yeah, I was there.
Nice.
Yeah, I was there for Liger and Breeze. Liger on a WWE show was just really. Still today, to me, is like the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And like I was there for like Samoa Joe and Nakamura. Like that's the stuff that made.
NXT's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think the thing that made OVW was definitely Danny Davis and Jim Cornette. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see who they could put in their shoes because. You gotta find people. You gotta find good trainers, and not that WWE doesn't have good trainers, but they gotta find people who can really produce good talent.
Same thing with FCW. Wasn't that Dusty Rhodes?
It's Dusty Rhodes. Yeah.
And I don't know. Man. We'll follow this story closely because I'm just nervous now what the future holds for NXT because they've been killing it week in and week out. I'll say on the show during the TV takedowns. So one of my takedowns is NXT the whole show because beginning to end, bell to bell, this is a fucking great show. So now we got to be more cautious, and we'll have to follow this very closely to see what the hell happens here.
And this takeover coming up is looking pretty good, right? Walter, Ilya again.
Yeah, that looks cool. I mean, I don't know how much the casual. I mean, me and Marcus said the casual fans aren't really into NXT because you can tell by the reactions of the call-ups of the main roster. But then you have the NXT diehards who love NXT. Then you have the NXT UK guys who love the NXT faithful aren't really invested in because NXT UK. But this Walter versus Dragunov match last year was one of the match of the year contenders, so I'm looking forward to this match.
Yeah,
they might steal the show.
Also, they have Killer and Joe, right, and O'Reilly Cole, right. So I mean, like that's like 3 main event matches in one show.
Yeah, and which could be Cole's last match with WWE. Still no news about that at all. Still no news, no updates. What do you think the future holds for Adam Cole? Where do you think he'll land? You think he'll resign or go to AEW?
You know, honestly, I think he's going to resign with WWE.
I hope so. He's a good fit there.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think he's going to get. I think he would get lost in the shuffle at AEW.
Took the words out of my mouth. Yeah, I was doing the same thing.
You know, especially if they're saying Punk is coming and Bryan and then Adam Cole, he'll be the odd man out. Like, and that's the thing. There's too many people going from WWE to AEW that they stand out for a week and then they just become another one of the regulars on the show.
Yeah, I'm saying the same thing. You know, Vince loves the big guys. Apparently now the new edict in NXT is like he doesn't want anybody over 30, no small guys. He wants big guys under 30. And Adam Cole is the exception to that rule. I think Adam Cole going to the main roster will also break the NXT curse. I think he'll be catapulted right to the main event, if not mid-card, and be successful there. Yeah,
I think so too. I'm just kind of mad that they never brought them up as the Undisputed Era.
Yeah, imagine. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because, they could have feuded with, like, the New Day or any of these, you can make any trio if they wanted to face them.
I think a lot of people expected them to come up as a whole, and it's never came to fruition for some reason.
Because they're all amazing. They're all good together. And I was just like, I hated that they didn't do that.
Plus, the main roster isn't really thriving with factions these days. There's a couple 3-man teams, 3-people teams, but like a 4-man faction. That'd be cool. That'd be invigorating. We haven't seen one of those in a while.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah, that would be cool to have like a real faction, like you said.
But whatever. We'll follow NXT in the next couple of weeks, see what happens. Hopefully, we don't see anything different. Hopefully, it stays the course, but I have my doubts. In other news, since his release from WWE, the world is wide open for Ric Flair. Apparently, Ric Flair wants one more in-ring return. He tried to make good on his promise by releasing a Twitter photo a couple of weeks ago, if not last week, about him working out in the gym. Now he's adding fuel to the fire. Once again, he took to Twitter and uploaded a clip of his promo he cut on Raw in 2007 where he declared he would never retire. It sounded something like this.
But I know sooner or later there'll be a time for me to retire. I've compared myself to the great Cal Ripken Jr., the Iron Man of baseball, even to Brett Favre, who to this day is playing better than any quarterback in NFL. But tonight, right here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and in front of the world, I have to announce to you that I will never retire. I will only retire when I'm dead in this ring.
Wow. How about that announcement?
Over my dead body. I've got too much juice left. Woo! I'm still rich boy. Love this business. I'm going nowhere. Thank you. Woo!
Yeah, classic iconic promo. Ric Flair is currently 72 years old. He last competed inside the ring in 2011, 10 years ago for TNA. It's being reported that he is a lock to head to AEW, which I assume because I think 3 of the 4 horsemen are there.
Mm-hmm.
When he's legally able to do so. I think if math is correct, it's November 1st, around there.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we love Ric Flair. Everybody loves Ric Flair on screen. He's great. He's a legend. But do we want to see him actually get back inside the ring?
Well, that's for me. That's a two-hearted question because I'd love to see Ric Flair get in the ring
And wrestle again at the age of 72?
Because I love Ric Flair's matches. So I would want to see him in the ring, but at the same time, I don't want to see him in the ring because he's 72, and I would be concerned of his health. So
how many years ago was it? Like he was knocking on death's door. Like was it 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah, right. Like
I don't know about this, man.
But AEW would be the place to do it because
I
mean they put Nick Gage in a main event match. I mean they do some out of the box things. So I don't think it'd be a long match, but I can see it happening.
Like we said, we had Arn Anderson there.
Yeah, Tully
Blanchard's there.
They brought JJ in one night.
So I'm assuming they bring him back. I'm sure they'll do like a reunion, maybe Four Horsemen versus maybe the Pinnacle or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. I mean, I definitely think it will happen. But the wrestling thing, I'm still kind of on the fence. I mean, the whole Ric Flair, I would love to see wrestle again, but
72-year-old.
I would want to see him. Yeah, not 72 Ric Flair, but I love Ric.
So I was a big Ric Flair fan. Ric Flair had that great send-off at WrestleMania 24.
Yeah.
Against Shawn Michaels, iconic match.
Yeah.
And he ended his career perfectly there. I thought it was a great send-off. He had that whole storyline. As soon as he loses, he's going to retire.
Yeah.
He goes against the greats of all time, Shawn Michaels. Great match. His family's there. He's same weekend he's inducted into the Hall of Fame. Do you think his comeback in the ring years later with TNA diminished that great send-off? He had a decent career in TNA,
no.
and he wrestled numerous times.
Yes and no. TNA is one of those places where if you're not a wrestling fan, you're probably not going to know where to find it.
Yeah.
So some people may don't even know it exists. But if you're a real wrestling fan like me, I think they should have he should have probably just left it, 08 and at WrestleMania.
Yeah, something like that, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so should have just left it, like the package was leave the memories alone, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't think anybody will ever get a better send-off than Ric, so I think they should have just should have just left it there.
So being that he didn't leave it there, went back to compete for a couple of years in TNA.
Yeah.
Will his return in the ring to AEW diminish it even more? 'Cause I think a lot of people don't know he was back in TNA for a while. Again, TNA at the time wasn't more like a regular mainstream thing.
To be honest with you, I really doubt that he'll do that. I think they'll find something for him to do, but I can't really see one last Flair match.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody would really. I mean, like I said, AEW would be the place where they do it, but I don't know, man. I don't know. They might maybe they'll do like a cinematic match or something like that.
Oh, maybe. I didn't even think about that. It's a good point.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that more, yeah. Definitely a Four Horsemen Pinnacle cinematic match. That'd be great. Where's Tully lie here?
Oh, yeah, that's true. They get like Barry Windham and
there you go.
A couple of other, maybe Paul Roma, right?
But a cinematic match, I think that is the answer here. So good job, Andrew. I think we'll see that. If you see Ric Flair in the ring again, it's going to be cinematic. Great point.
Yeah, right.
In other news, Roman Reigns is the talk of the town in the wrestling world right now. He's an excellent champion. He's a great character, and his in-ring skills have gotten a lot better. Mm-hmm. The Tribal Chief character has simply elevated him to new heights. Plus, Paul Heyman as a special counsel definitely helped him out. Paul Heyman is one of the guys he requested to work with upon his return last year. And one of the most improved areas he had is his promo skills. His promo skills now, as compared to a couple years ago, are amazing. It's like a different person. The difference is he's off script. He spoke to Sports Illustrated Media Podcast and said, and I quote, there's a portion of my career where I either read a script or I would try to adjust the script as much as possible. But for a while now, especially since I've come back from my little leave during the pandemic, I'm not scripted. I say what I want to say. I say what I want to feel. If it comes out of my mouth, it's my verbiage. I come up with it. I deliver the way I want it to be delivered. And that's a lot of positive I hear from AEW. A lot of the guys over there are off script. They come up, they cut the promos off the top of their head or make it up themselves. So with that being successful, with the success of Roman Reigns and John Cena, especially tonight, why don't the WWE let more people go off script? What is the whole thing about going on script? Because you can tell when someone's reading a script. Like NXT, if you saw Teddy DiBiase forget some of his lines.
Yeah.
It's just like, why is it so strict staying on script when a lot of people prefer off script? What's the benefit of being on script here?
I think sponsors.
Really?
Right?
Elaborate.
Because you know what you're, the sponsors, especially a nationwide television show. If you're giving somebody your money, you don't really want surprises. You don't want somebody to come on your show. You don't want to be the next thing they see out when the show goes to break and you say something off script. I mean, you saw that with Domino's, right? They ditched, AEW. They didn't want to be a part of it, right? So, you got to think like, kids watch the show. They have the merchandise. You don't want somebody going on there and really. You don't want to lose sponsorships. That's money for Monday Night Raw. That's why they have a third hour, because they make money off of that.
That's true.
So, yeah. And if I was going to give somebody my money, if I had a company, I wouldn't want somebody seeing something off scripted or off colored or a wrong comment or something bad, so I think it's a double-edged sword, yeah, because you want that freedom, but sometimes that freedom comes with a cost where people don't want to give your company money.
And I get not giving everybody a script, freedom going off script. Give people scripts, especially the younger guys, the newer guys, the guys you don't have confidence in. But you have confidence in certain people.
Yeah.
Yeah, give them a script and either let them just adverb it or ad-lib it and just make it their own. And once they start doing scripted promos and interviews, that's when it started losing the audience here, because they felt it not being genuine, they felt it not being authentic, and they felt it was forced down our throats. And that's what turned a lot of people off.
Yeah, I think so too. But
again, not everybody. Like the main event guys, I think Big E would be benefit from not being on script.
No, I definitely think they would, but I think still as a business, I still probably wouldn't want to take too much of a chance, too much of a risk, especially when you got contracts to pay, big dollar contracts, and people who rely on you.
So why do you think AEW is so successful not doing scripted promos?
I think they are playing truth or dare every time they go out there.
Oh, to gamble.
I think, yeah, really.
Okay.
I mean, every Wednesday, I feel like I think they're really on the cusp of some days shoot. They've shot themselves in the foot a lot of times in the last, 2 years. Right? Luckily when WWE, like when Vince started doing these things and making mistakes, he didn't have the internet, right?
True. Yeah.
People weren't. You would see it maybe in the dirt, in the aftermags or something like that, but it wasn't like it is today, right? Like everything's being dissected. But I think every time they're on TV for 2 hours on Wednesday and now an hour on Friday, I think they're always playing a gamble, right?
That's true.
So, if I know for me, I would want to be in the best position to make the most amount of money. That's why WWE's making like billion-dollar deals.
Making money hand over fist during the worst pandemic in 100 years. They're still excelling in profits. It's amazing. Yeah,
and to me that's crazy. They're making billion-dollar deals, and AEW they lost the deal, right? So I wouldn't want to be losing money in the pandemic either.
So we'll see if they let more people go off script in the future. I'm assuming they might loosen the reins a little bit on certain people, like Seth Rollins. I think Seth Rollins would excel off script. But we'll see what happens in the future. I'm sure they might let them do more if AEW continues to succeed. But we'll see what happens.
And they have the talent. They have talent that can do it for sure.
Yeah. But finally, in other news, Andrews, I always like to end on a positive note.
Yeah.
There is a baby on the way.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae announced they are expecting their first child. Congratulations to both Mr. and Mrs. Wrestling. Candice LeRae announced on Instagram that she is willing to stay on TV with NXT as much as possible, or as long as possible, and she plans on getting right back into the ring as soon as possible. Which is good news, because I think NXT, one of the best things going on is Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, The Way, one of the highlights of the show, week in and week out. So, congratulations to them. It was awesome news for them, and again, this baby won't keep her off TV for too long, so congratulations, man.
Yeah.
It's good news, because they've been married for a couple of years now, I think 4 or 5 years now, so good for them.
Yeah, baby wrestling on the way.
Yeah.
It's hopefully happy and healthy, especially in today's circumstances, right, with COVID,
Yeah.
And hopefully, it's funny, right? When things fall apart, they fall apart fast, right? They just lost Indy,
Yeah.
right? So we'll see how long it takes for Candace to stay on TV, but I think of course, happy and healthy baby, and I hate to see her go, but it's for a good reason, right? So
Yeah.
we'll be just fine.
And she mentioned on the Instagram post too, it's kind of hard for like women who their lifelong goal is to become a professional wrestler. They bust their ass their whole lives.
Yeah.
Someone like her, she makes it. Someone like also Becky Lynch, they make it.
Mm-hmm.
They get a baby, and now they got to decide what we got to do here. And her plan is to come back as soon as possible. So hopefully, like you said, happy and healthy, and looking forward to Candice LeRae coming back because she's awesome. NXT needs her.
Yeah. I don't think Becky has to worry because Seth always has a plan. He was the plan B, so.
But
So, yeah, but it's great. You always want to see healthy and happy babies, but it is hard for women, especially when they're really hitting their stride. So, yes, that's true. But hopefully she can come back soon and still be able to raise her child and then be an ass kicker.
I'm looking forward to the skits when the baby comes, where like Austin Theory gets jealous of all the attention the baby's getting. I can just see that now. Him being like the jealous older brother, like, wow, I'm still here too.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. Yeah.
Can't wait. There's so much possibilities on this. So congratulations to them and looking forward to it. Like I said, happy and healthy. That's all that matters.
Yeah, it's true.
But on that note, Andrew, let's get into some TV Takedown this week.
It's time for this week's TV Takedown.
All right, Andrew, time to get into some TV, but a pretty decent week of TV this week. Let's just start tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Get more recording the show Friday night. The face-to-face with John Cena and Roman Reigns. I mean, that was great. John Cena can kill it on the mic. Roman Reigns, just talked about in the previous segment, is killing it on the mic and promos. Both of them were just awesome. There's a lot to digest here, going back and forth. What were your thoughts on the John Cena Roman Reigns face-to-face promo? I mean, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty stellar too. I think they had this feud a couple of years back, right? And it didn't really pan out. But this time around, I mean, I think both guys are really killing it on the mic and destination viewing if you want to watch SummerSlam.
I forgot it was Marcus or Green Man made a good point that the last time they had a feud, Roman Reigns.
4 years back.
Yeah. John Cena embarrassed Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns might have forgotten a line or he stumbled on the promo. Again, scripted. And John Cena called him out on it and it embarrassed him.
Yeah.
This time,
they did.
Both held their own. And now looking forward to this match. And just love how John Cena emphasized how I don't have to really do much. I have nothing left to prove to you. I could just go out there and pin you. You gotta beat my ass. You gotta destroy me. You gotta hit your moves and your spears and the fancy punches. But all I gotta do.
I just need to pin you. 1, 2, 3.
And like that is so genius because that is true. John Cena doesn't have to do anything here. All John Cena has to do here is pin him and become a 17-time world champion. Roman Reigns has to show up and show out. So all the pressure's here on Roman Reigns' shoulders. I thought that was a great promo. I think it's the best thing going on in the wrestling world. Not only WWE, but I think all platforms. I think it's the best thing going on right now.
Oh yeah, definitely, and like you said, it's gonna be one of those good matches where I hope it lives up to the hype. I mean,
true,
like a Rock and Hogan kind of thing that lived up, right? So hopefully this second time around for them, hopefully it's gonna be a fantastic main event.
And going into it, there was absolutely, in my mind, zero chance that John Cena wins here. Absolutely zero. I still believe there's no chance John Cena wins here. But after this promo, and now that Ric Flair's released, not a part of the WWE universe anymore, I'm like, well, maybe. Well, maybe.
Oh, yeah, right? So, I don't know. Like, they keep saying the summer of Cena, but they're not producing like a fall of Cena yet.
True.
So I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't think we're going to see Cena for the long haul, but I don't think he's done for a long shot yet with WWE.
Now, Ric Flair is revered amongst the wrestling universe, not only WWE, but all across the world. Ric Flair is the best.
Yeah.
Do you think, if not now, maybe later down the line, John Cena will break the record?
Yeah.
Again, Ric Flair is not a part of the company anymore. They have no allegiance to him. They have no ties to him. But they still, of course, it's Ric Flair.
Yeah.
And he's going to come back. They left on good notes. But do you think they'll ever let John Cena break the record? I should say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if he does break it at SummerSlam, I think Big E would cash in, and that would just
How? He's not the title holder anymore. Baron Corbin stole it.
Oh, I mean, he's still in possession of the
9/10 of the law, my friend. 9/10 of the law.
That's true, but I think he can always get it back. I mean, there's another week between now and SummerSlam.
Yeah. Something's going to happen.
So, yeah, something's going to happen. I mean, but yeah, I mean, how awesome would that be? Like, Big E doesn't have to pin Roman,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
right? And they can have a feud off of that. I mean, just because Cena will be gone, right? So Roman's like, I never lost to you.
My problem, though, is I think John Cena is willing to work more dates. And my problem with Charlotte Flair is she's catapulted to the most reigns. Because a lot of her reigns are like one day, maybe a week, and they're like throw-off reigns. So I don't want John Cena to break the record just to lose it within like 20 minutes. I feel like that would diminish his 17 title reigns.
I can see that too, but he's had a couple of those short runs with the title. Remember the one with Bray Wyatt? It was like only like a month.
Yeah.
He was champion, so I don't know. At this point, I don't think anything could hurt John Cena. He's the biggest star, and he's not even in the company full time. So
early prediction. Who do you think is going to walk away Universal Champion at SummerSlam?
I think I don't know. I could see Cena winning, but I could see like Big E cashing in or something.
Again, that's great because there's no chance of John Cena winning here. And now after this promo, we're like, yeah, I can see it now.
I can see it.
Oh, great job, both men.
Yeah, that's true. That's the kind of speculation you want. But yeah, definitely don't see long-term Cena champion.
No, not long-term, no.
Yeah, maybe like a Hogan thing where remember like he won it at like WrestleMania 3 after and dropped it not that long.
I can see that. Now, I'm sorry Green Man's not here because on Raw, there was a video package of Elias with his guitar in the woods. He tossed the guitar into the fire and then said,
WWE stood for Walk with Elias. But Elias is dead.
So I'm assuming that they're going to try to repackage Elias here. He's not going to be a drifter anymore. He's not going to sing songs. Completely different character, which kind of I called a couple weeks ago when I saw Boogs come out on SmackDown. I'm like, that's a ripoff of Elias, only better.
Okay.
What do you think the future holds for Elias here? Do you think they'll repackage him and be successful, or do you think he'll be future endeavored in a couple months?
I'm glad that he's actually not dead, Elias, and he's very much alive.
Yeah.
With this character, I don't know. They always take a chance. I remember like they did something like this with like Emma, and it didn't pan out, or a couple of other people. But like Adam Rose or something like that. So I'm hoping what they have for him will work. I'd like to see what they do with him.
I'm surprised they're just scrapping the whole thing. And again, it worked with Husky Harris and Bray Wyatt. I'm hoping because Elias is very talented. He's great promos. He's great on the mic. He's good in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
But he's done nothing last couple months except this whole feud with Jackson Riker. And again, I hate to repeat myself, but when Boogs came out, I'm like, this is Elias amped up. What are you going to do with Elias? And now they're repackaging him. So
yeah, and it's weird because he had so much momentum going into him and Braun.
Yeah,
remember they were talking about them being tag champs or a couple of years ago. So it's just kind of weird where both guys are now. I mean, they had so much potential, and WWE kind of dropping the ball with both guys.
A good friend of mine is a casual wrestling fan. But one of his favorite moments he still talks about to this day, was Elias with Kevin Owens in Seattle when they shit-talked about the Seattle Supersonics, and they did, what was it, 8-minute boo?
Yeah.
That's one of the highlights of wrestling ever. Like, 8 minutes, uninterrupted boos. And what he's a heat magnet then.
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
So I just hope, Elias is awesome. I just hope when he comes out with whoever new character he's coming out with, it doesn't suck and it's successful.
Yeah. Actually, you probably remember this too, but at WrestleMania, when he had like he was like a one-man band. And he had like just playing like the drums. he was doing all this stuff, and then Cena comes out.
Yep,
the place just went nuts.
Dr. Thugonomics, right?
Yeah.
That
was great.
Elias is awesome. I just hope they do good things with him.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Going over to NXT, Gigi Dolan had a good, impressive match. Did you catch NXT here?
Parts of it, but I didn't catch that match.
Gigi Dolan not only had a good match, but she had an impressive finisher here. I don't remember seeing this move. It was like a spin slam based off an abdominal stretch.
Mm-hmm.
A unique finisher. I've never seen that before. It stood out to me. And she has a good look. She's paired with a good woman. There's this whole thing going on with Mandy Rose. But she had this unique finisher that floored me. It floored the announcers. And I feel like a unique finisher is a good sign for her future here. It's not a cookie-cutter finisher. She's a standalone finisher I have not seen anybody else do before. I think that means the future's bright for Gigi Dolan here.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and check out that move. And
oh, man,
I mean, anywhere Mandy Rose is, it's a good show.
The only thing bad about NXT this week was Mandy Rose was not on TV.
Yeah.
But Gigi Dolan cut a lot of promos of her holding like a rose to imply it's coming up. So definitely check out the finisher. That abdominal stretch, like flip. I forgot what the announcers called it because they were stunned too. Oh, man. Again, a unique finisher. I think is a good sign for her future, and I can't wait to see it. Again, going over to Impact, Madison Rayne retired from wrestling. She wanted to pursue other things. She wanted to go back to school. I think she wanted to go back to maybe real estate or something. Madison Rayne returned this week. She helped, I want to say Emma. She helped Tennille Dashwood win. Now, I wonder if this is a short-term thing. She announced her retirement a couple months ago. They had a nice send-off on a pre-show for one of the pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm.
So is she sticking around? It's going to be a one-off thing? Is she decided, like, this is where I want to be? So I'm curious to see, after this program with Emma, I did it again, Tennille Dashwood, if Madison Rayne's going to stick around.
Does anybody ever really retire?
Is that, you're talking about Ric Flair, this previous segment? So I guess not, right?
Yeah. Right.
But she seemed serious because she wanted to go back and develop a career here.
Yeah.
But she came back out of nowhere. And I read the spoilers for this, and I didn't even remember hearing about this on the spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
But, all right. Awesome. Happy to see her back. She's great. She definitely elevates that women's division in Impact.
Yeah.
So,
and it's funny, like, my first time I saw her, I never really thought she would be just like a flag bearer for Impact, because...
me neither. I saw her during, like, the Beautiful People era.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, she's just a pretty face.
Mm-hmm. I think back then, right, they had Gail Kim and Awesome Kong. Like, these are the two women
Mickie James.
You're going to build around. Yeah, Mickie James, right? So
turns out she's a 5-time Knockouts champion, one of the best in the company, a future Hall of Famer. Wow, good for her.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hoping she's sticking around. I'm hoping she realizes, like you said, no one retires. This isn't my blood. I need to stay around. So, I'm definitely following this after this whole Tennille Dashwood. And, like, what is their friendship? Are they partners? Is she a mentor? What's going on here? So, definitely got to tune in next week to see what's going on.
Yeah, and even if her in-ring career is over, it doesn't mean she has to be done with wrestling.
True.
So,
especially with Impact, where they tape the whole month, like in the weekend, so she has plenty of time to pursue her other education and career options. Just give up a weekend a month; it's not too bad.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Staying with Impact, the main event was a 20-man battle royal to determine the number one contender. I mean, it was a pretty quick match for 20-man battle royal. It was solid booking. It seemed like each elimination definitely held up to the storylines going on. I thought it was pretty cool. Each elimination made sense.
Yeah, I saw that they all teamed up on Big Cass.
Yeah,
they threw him.
They all teamed up in Big Cass, and then he just blew everybody off like Andre did and Braun Strowman used to do. Then the big guys teamed up and they got him out of there, which was smart.
Yeah, that was crazy. I remember seeing Moose had a pretty good showing in there.
Moose always has a good showing. He's the best.
Yeah, Moose is good.
But a rather surprising finish, though. I can't see Kenny Omega versus Brian Myers. It doesn't sound like a main event worthy matchup on paper, but I can't say this won't be a bad match.
Yeah, well, they announced that it's going to be Christian because he just won the Impact Championship.
True.
So, I think in a couple weeks it's going to be, or next week it's going to be Christian and Brian Myers. But yeah, I love Kurt Hawkins, Brian Myers. To me, they had him in WWE. I wish they didn't waste him.
Just the way he's revitalized his career in Impact.
Yeah.
He has a great character. He's showing what he can do in the ring. Brian Myers is the most professional wrestler. I thought it was a great tagline, great gimmick. Because he's good, and now he's being able to show what he can do. I mean, I don't see him staying in the main event picture for a while, but at least he's getting the opportunity to shine.
Yeah, well, the only thing I don't like about Brian Myers is that he's an Islander fan.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, but he's a Met fan, so he's okay. He's
huge Met fan. A lot of gear is Met inspired.
Yeah, so that's good in my book, so I'll take that.
And he's billed more often than not. Sometimes he's Queens. More often than not, he's billed from Bayside, New York, which is where I'm from. So I got to pull for my hometown boy here.
Yeah, I love him for sure.
This week's episode of Impact, I feel like overall, top to bottom, did a great job casting doubt over the Omega versus Christian Cage match on Rampage for the Impact Championship. Because nobody expected this to happen, because this was just announced this past Wednesday on Dynamite.
Yeah.
And again, Impact takes a month ahead. So this was the last TV taping of that taping, because they're taping it this weekend. Mm-hmm. But there was cast doubt. I'm like, oh, maybe Christian could win here because of his history with the company. Brian Myers is a heel. I don't see Brian Myers versus Kenny Omega. Maybe Christian might be. I don't know. I wasn't thinking too much of it because I didn't think Christian would win. But, man, you just said it. Christian won. Were you surprised about this?
No. Well, yes and no. I thought maybe he would win, but be like a DQ or something like that. I didn't think he would win the championship. But, because he's been on such a nice little tear since coming back to the ring. I didn't think he was going to lose, but I didn't think he'd win the championship belt. Maybe like a countdown or some disqualification or something. I don't know, but I'm glad he did win.
Yeah, that backstage interview he had with oh my god, I'm drawing a blank on that backstage announcer's name on Dynamite, Alvarez.
Okay. Yeah,
Alvarez. Mm-hmm. That promo he cut, I'm like, oh okay, I can see. Yeah, he's right because he has a history. He's a former quote unquote Impact champion. I can see him coming back. And I was so looking forward to this match because of Impact. Casting doubt, I'm like, Friday night, I got to watch this match because I'm not sure what's going to happen. And that's wrestling marks know. We can predict what's going on. We know what's going on. Often we're not surprised. But this time, I'm like, but I totally forgot about it, Andrew. I'm like, oh, shit. I was getting ready for the show. I'm like, all right, it's what, 10:20? I got to tune into the show, and I just missed that match. But he won. I'm like, okay, good. Now will he carry the Impact Championship on both AEW or Impact? Do you see that happening?
Yeah, I can't see AEW not wanting to use him. They kept him along. They're the ones who brought him back, right? So
I don't see them using him billing him as the Impact World Champion anymore because, all right, because that whole thing was not only an Impact AEW thing, but it was more like the Kenny Omega Elite infiltrating both AEW and Impact. But now that Christian's won the champion, I mean, he might come out with the belt, maybe. There are times Kenny Omega has come out on Dynamite not wearing the Impact Championship.
Well, I mean, right? The Good Brothers just defended the tag team titles, right?
Which is surprising, yeah.
So, maybe we'll see more. I mean, it's kind of like WWE. They got too many championship belts, right? But I think plus it's a little confusing too if you don't watch one. You're like, why is Christian having two? Why does he have two belts? Yeah. It's only one company.
The whole two belt thing was stupid. Like, just keep the Impact stuff. I understand the concept of giving Kenny Omega more belts, but you don't need a TNA. You don't need a TNA championship. Get rid of it. Just keep the Impact stuff.
It is a nice belt, though.
Oh, it's much prettier than the Impact Championship. I must admit.
Yeah, but definitely hold on to one. But yeah, I think it's a little confusing why you need two belts to be one champion. But hey, whatever.
I heard a couple weeks ago that they had a plan in place for Kenny Omega to lose the Impact Championship. I can't imagine this was it. But now, Impact, again, his champion is not on an Impact contracted wrestler.
Yeah.
So again, I asked Mark a couple months ago, I'll ask you, who do you think will take the championship away from Christian Cage and bring the championship back to Impact?
Matt Cardona.
Woo, woo, woo. I'm all for that.
Right?
Please. By the way, can you repeat that and put respect on his name? The new king of the death match, Matt Cardona. By the way.
Okay, the king of the death match, Matt Cardona.
I think he deserves it. That'd be great to see. Plus, Christian, Matt Cardona would be a great match. You never know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Let's do that. Yeah. I like the way you think.
And I think, right, he's probably the most hated person in GCW. So I think he would probably be the most hated person He knows how to be liked and hated, so I think he'd be a good champion.
I was a huge Zack Ryder fan, and Matt Cardona is just showing me why, because he's just excelling it. He's such a great mind for this business. And when he became the new king of the death match, and the shirts with him holding up the LI, but the I is the middle finger, I'm like, this is fucking fantastic. He's such a great guy, man. Props to GCW for believing in him and giving him the belt to ride this, knowing the backlash would come. I'm looking forward to this, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I agree 100%.
That's all I have for TV. Anything you want to bring up? Because I know you're a big Ring of Honor fan. Anything going on in the Ring of Honor world?
No, just I like I like the Mecha Brian Johnson. I think he's been pretty good. I like Danhausen, and I think Rep Titus. I mean, they have so many good guys there at ROH that turn it on. You go on YouTube, you go to the website, you can watch the link, and they have so many good matches. I mean, the Briscoes just had this killer cinematic match, and it was pretty awesome. So,
do you watch NWA Power?
If I have time, yeah, I've watched it. I like watching Black G's on there.
I'm hearing good things about that promotion. I want to watch the Empower pay-per-view because NWA here is doing pretty good. I just don't watch it too much.
Yeah, they have Nick Aldis he's fantastic. Camille Brickhouse is really good. G's is really whenever I get a chance, I'd love to check out the people like Trevor Murdoch, who's they have some really good talent in there. They have some great matches. They had like Molina on there just not too long ago. So if you get you find good matches everywhere you go, man. So just gotta look for them sometimes.
All right, buddy. On that note, let's wrap things up. Let's get some go home thoughts. Andrew, thank you for being here, man. You filled in for Mark Schwann, which is not hard to do because Mark Schwann sucks, but you killed it. Thank you for being here. Where can people find you on social media and your show, Wrestling IQ 101?
All right. First off, you can follow me on Instagram at @thereal_Andrew19. If you want to follow me personally, you can also follow me on Facebook at Andrew Pace. You can listen to Wrestling IQ 101 on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. You can check out past episodes, new episodes, and some current ones. And of course, there's some flashback episodes. There's some new interviews that I've done. Plus, if you go on social media and use the @ at Wrestling IQ 101, and that's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and you'll find all you need to know about upcoming shows and fun posts and whatever we have. I put some old episodes up, like some old interviews.
Yeah, I remember watching hearing those. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I have my interview with Mick Foley and Scott Steiner are up there, and I was like, holy shit! Like these are some of the guys I grew up watching on TV, and I got to talk to them. So, and like for you guys, it's great to see that you guys are continuing to flourish, and hopefully more milestones to come.
Hopefully, man. Like I mentioned last year, we had Derek on the show with me and Mark. So maybe hopefully sometimes you and Derek can join me and Mark. We have a Wrestling IQ, Shot Wrestling full combination, and we can team up with Mark until Mark sucks. Right?
All right. Well, I don't think he sucks, but yeah, I definitely would love to come back on, and I love talking to you. I think, and to be honest with you, I can't wait to make more memories and run into more shows, and I can't wait to see you in person again because I always love to talk to you, and I hope good things for you, man.
You too, brother. Like again, you saved my WrestleCon. I just had to walk in, maybe spend 30 minutes there, walk in and walk out, and you were there. You made the thing. We spent like 3-4 hours there, did the whole thing, spent a lot of money, but whatever. It was worth it. It was awesome time. And also, while you're here, me and you've hung out maybe 4 times.
Yeah.
3.5 really, because we met you we went to Boardwalk Beatdown when they had the big imposing with the Hall of Famers. Mm-hmm. So me, you, Derek, and Green Man went out to a bar afterward for a couple drinks. I wasn't feeling good. I didn't spend too much time there. So I bounced. The next night, a Boardwalk Beatdown the show. You and Derek joined me on the show. Then we hung out at the WrestleCon, like I mentioned. Then we had a brief encounter at WrestleMania outside of MetLife. So we talked here and there. We only mentioned we only hung out 3.5 times. But I will tell you this personally, right here on the show live, to tape, really. When my father passed away, it was a huge blow to me. You sent me numerous messages. I'll tell you right now, I wholeheartedly appreciated that. Because me and you aren't that close. We have not known each other that long. But your messages made me feel like we were lifelong friends.
Yeah.
I recognize you send me messages. There's people I've known longer than you, closer to you, who never reached out to me at all. But so, again, wholeheartedly, while you're here, I don't want to tell you thank you. It meant the world to me that you reached out to me. And you still reached out to me afterwards. Like, hey, how you doing? How you holding up?
Yeah.
And it just meant the world to me. And thank you. I love you. You're the best. And I'm happy you're here. I'm happy to call you a friend. And that meant, again, the world to me more than you know. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Oh, man, thank you for saying that. And, yeah, I just saw you were in need, and, we've always, I always try to support you and able.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so when one of us are hurting, we just try to be there for each other, and I'm glad I was able to do that for you, and I'm hoping...
It meant the world to me. Because a lot of people I consider friends didn't reach out to me, or they would, but then they gave up. Like, they never checked in on me. But you did numerous times, still to this day. I think it was a couple weeks ago you reached out to me. So again, I wholeheartedly appreciate it. I'll never forget that, my friend. I'll never forget that. So thank you so much.
I appreciate that. And yeah, if you you ever need anything, you have my number. You can always get me. So
appreciate it.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully you always hope somebody would do the same for you when you're hurting. And yeah. So I'm glad I was able to do that for you. And I hate to see anybody hurting like that, and if you need it, yeah, you got me a little frustrated. I wasn't expecting you to say that, but yeah. So, and I appreciate the kind words, but it's just you see a good brother hurting, you just want to be there for him, and yeah. So, hopefully,
next weekend is SummerSlam. A Shot of Wrestling is hosting our SummerSlam watch parties. Our watch parties are back. Thanks to Jimmy J, we'll be at Hooters in Fresh Meadows here in Queens, hosted by our guiding light, AJ Pan, the governor of BCW. Thanks to the help of the virtual GM, Vince Russo. It's going to be Saturday night, August 21st. Make sure you're there if you're in Queens, in the local area. Hooters, Fresh Meadows, Horace Harding, 188th. Should be a good time. Can't wait. Again, SummerSlam's looking to be a great card. Happy to have our watch parties back. That's all I got. Andrew, thank you for being here, and thank you for filling in for Mark. You did a much better job than he ever would. Your experience has definitely shown up. You're a good friend, and happy to have you here. Again, Wrestling IQ 101. When do your shows drop?
They've been sporadic, but just, if you subscribe on YouTube, you'll always get the notification, and, yeah, you'll see who it is. I just put out my past interview I did with Gorgeous George from WCW.
I saw that. Yeah, awesome. Good job.
Yeah. So, yeah, and plus, you can go back. You'll see, like Randy Hogan, Layla Gray, Luke Curtis, Brett Azar, who plays the Iron Sheik from Young Rock. So there's some interviews up there now that you can go back and check out. And yeah, just stay tuned because you never know if it's going to be a flashback or a new episode.
I had no clue who Randy Hogan was, but I heard your interview. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So good job with that.
Randy Hogan. Yeah. He's like a. He didn't even have the Hulk Hogan persona. He was just some like jobber.
Yeah, he's awesome.
But yeah, he's a great dude. He really is. So, but yeah, you never know who you're gonna meet, and yeah, he's been nothing but awesome.
On that note, speaking of nothing but awesome, Andrew, thank you for being here.
Thank you again.
I've been your host at Michael J. Putty. Until next week, Putty out.
Hey baby, I hear the bell ringing, hip tosses and body slams. Oh my. And maybe you seem a bit confused, yeah baby, but I got you pinned. Ha 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 ha. But I don't know what to do when I see them with that golden case. They're cashing it in. Authority all in my face. What is a man to do? Good night, everybody.